Welcome to the Vintage Dredge wrap-up. Today was a pretty good day of dredging. I went 3-1 in matches, taking a loss in our third match. Most of the decks we played against were pretty similar. They were all creature-oriented. Two of them had Delver. One was actually a Stoneforge Mystic deck, and the fourth deck I played against I didn't really get to see too much of, but it was Grixis colored. So got to play against a little variety, of course. Most vintage decks are playing largely the same core. Things like Power 9, Jace the Mind Sculptor, that sort of thing. But I had a lot of fun, actually. Dredging is quite fun. For the most part, I liked all of my choices. And I wish I had more to say, but most of the matches actually went pretty similarly. Of course, we mulliganed until we hit Bazaar of Baghdad. And we didn't have a game where we didn't open with it. I believe the odds of not opening with a Bazaar after mulligans are roughly 1 in 17. So we played some 10-ish games. So could have happened, but it didn't. Of course, Serum Powder helps with mulligans a lot. And yeah, so of the games that I lost, particularly in round 3, he had a Leyline of the Void opening plus counter magic, which can be pretty tough to fight through. We do have quite a few answers to Leyline of the Void, of course. We have things like Nature's Claim, for example, which can deal with it pretty effectively, but sometimes they will have the counter spell for our Nature's Claim or, say, our Chain of Vapor out of the sideboard. This is really my first experience playing Vintage, so I learned a lot about it, actually. One thing I learned is that Mental Misstep is really good. I think like all the decks that I played against had it, and it was also very good against opponents. Ancestral Recall is, of course, a pretty key card in the format, and having Mental Misstep to counter that's nice. We also played against a few different Delver decks, so having that there is good, and also having it to counter opponents' Mental Missteps, say for example on our Nature's Claims, was quite good. Don't think I ever Mindbreak Trapped anything, so that would be something to consider. There are a lot of different ways to build Vintage Dredge, actually. I'd say there are even more builds of the Vintage version than the Legacy version. Pretty much the only thing they'll have in common is that they're looking for Bazaar of Baghdad. But other than that, you have a lot of freedom in terms of how you build your deck. A lot of the lists will play Bloodghast, which is something you can do with Drakmor Salvage and Undiscovered Paradise. So I would consider that, of course. Didn't play against any other graveyard decks, so didn't have any opportunity to bring these in. But the deck's good. It's very powerful, and unlike Dredge and, say, for example, Legacy, this can fight through hate really well with the main deck Nature's Claims and the sideboard Chain of Vapors. In particular, I enjoyed Chain of Vapor into Cabal Therapy. That's pretty cool. You bounce their graveyard hate and then take it with therapy. That was actually how I got the last game of the last match, was he played Ichorid Jailer, which is something that can't be answered with Nature's Claim, but I managed to just Chain of Vapor it and then Cabal Therapy it, and then he actually just conceded after that. He just had enough, I guess. Deck was tons of fun. I love dredging. This is the third time I've recorded a dredge video for Gathering Magic. First I did Standard, then I did Legacy, and then now I've done Vintage. Deck's also playable in Modern, so let me know in the comments if you want me to do Modern. I think Modern Dredge isn't particularly strong right now because of all the scavenging uses, but I'd be willing to try it out if you guys wanted. So for the most part, things just went, how I expected them to. Things turned out pretty well. Only changes that I really think I'd want to make would maybe be to cut the 2 Mindbreak Traps for something. The Bloodghast build of this deck is, of course, good. I also didn't really get a lot of value out of this Darkblast, but if everyone's playing cards like Delver's Secrets and Ichorid Jailer, then I think it's pretty good. Unlike other Dredge variants, it also requires a bit less thought, which can be either a good thing for you or a bad thing, depending on who you are. Of course, every Magic deck requires knowing how to play it, of course, but the mulligan strategy is very simple. Just don't keep hands that don't have Bazaar, and that's about it. This deck is also very inexpensive on Magic Online because Bazaar of Baghdad is a $5 card. So if you're looking to get into Vintage on Magic Online, I would definitely recommend this deck. Requires no Power 9. Everything is very, very inexpensive. I mean, if you have the deck from Legacy, which I did, all you just need is the Bazaars and the Serum Powders. So I definitely recommend to all you guys out there. Dredging is quite fun. So yeah, that's all I've got for today. Alan Pennington with Gathering Magic. Thanks for watching.